The second Shark Conservation Society Gulf Shark Research Expedition took place in Qatar in April 2009. We followed exactly the same research activity programs that we had done in Kuwait the year before. Dr. Mohsin's team at the Environmental Studies Centre provided a shore base and lent us a research ship, the wonderful Muqtaba al-Bihar. We had enormous support, not only from the university, but also from the Ministry of Environment and from the Qatar Coast Guard. A sad fact is that for some aspects of research, dead sharks are much easier to study than live ones. Our market teams, led by our scientific advisor Alec Moore, recorded data from over 2,000 sharks.
I'm Alec Moore, the expedition scientist. We processed over 2,000 specimens in Qatar's markets. This year's work in Qatar has resulted in even more data being collected in Kuwait last year. From a shark and ray perspective, the Gulf has been a bit of an information black hole, which we're now starting to fill.
They made important discoveries, including proving the presence of species not previously recorded as being in the Arabian Gulf. In many places, saltwater mangroves in tidal areas provide important nursery habitats for sharks. By putting nets across the channels at low tide, we could find out what residents returned when the water came back. It's a waiting game. Snorkeling on an incoming tide not only kept us cool, but provided valuable sightings of juvenile guitarfish. The netting of our first survey site produced no juvenile sharks and little else apart from crabs. At the second site, we found our only dugong. Unfortunately, it was dead. There was no evidence of young sharks at this site either, but the snorkeling revealed other wonderful marine life. We boarded our research ship at night. At dawn, Captain Saloom put to sea while most people still slept. We chummed a variety of sights in 2-hour shifts round the clock. Blacktips, spot-tails, milk sharks, white cheeks and others responded to our chumming, enabling us to confirm at sea what was being recorded in the markets. Despite 184 hours chumming of 21 sites, we did not see any large species. Tiger sharks, bull sharks and great hammerheads occasionally turned up in the markets, but our at-sea activities indicated very serious depletion of these species. We stopped passing fishing boats and asked about the large sharks. The answer was always the same: Mafi. They hadn't seen any. For the large sharks, a depressing suspicion was being confirmed. The apex predator position, which should be occupied by the large species, has perhaps been filled by smaller sharks. In one 36-hour period, we caught, recorded and released nearly 100 baby sharks. They were mostly milk sharks with the occasional white cheek. We were all very excited. It seems we'd discovered a nursery area. This is what SCS is all about. We could now work hard to get this area protected. After data recording, the young sharks were placed in a recovery tank before being released back into the sea. There's nothing quite like seeing a wild animal regain its freedom.
Got a camera?
We'd learnt something of great potential conservation value, and a very tired but happy crew returned to Doha for a short but well-deserved rest. Our last survey area was Khor Al Udeid, near the Saudi and UAE borders. Here we worked with Coast Guard boats and were accommodated in the Ministry of Environment's camp. This is the domain of the critically endangered green sawfish. This extremely rare footage is of a recently released animal. Planet Earth will be much poorer without these amazing creatures, and SCS will do all it can to work with the Qatar government to ensure their survival. Mankind must make real efforts if extinctions are to be slowed and stopped. The Shark Conservation Society is very grateful to the government of Qatar for its help and support, and noted Qatar's responsible and aware positions on the marine environment and its inhabitants. At the end of September, a small SCS team returned to Qatar to suggest that the government put the following into action: mandatory release and reporting of all green sawfish caught in Qatar waters, an annual 3-month ban on the landing of all sharks and rays from February 15 to May 15. Our research indicated this is the pupping season. Also, our April expedition discovered a shark nursery ground. This area will now be closed to all fishing for the same period. It came as no surprise to SCS that in talks with the Qatar government, our suggestions were all agreed to, and we have been asked to formally request these measures and advise on their implementation. Once again, Qatar is taking a highly responsible conservation position and leading the way in protecting the fragile marine environment in the Arabian Gulf.